On today's Altered TCG digital gameplay video using the fan-made Exalted platform, we're finally going to be hitting the popular Lyra faction. Lyra is the faction of artists, gamblers, and free spirits, and in today's deck, we are going to be using the stock starter deck character Nevenka and Blotch, and we're going to be just rolling dice and hoping everything goes our way. So we are going to jump right into the deck profile, and then let's hit up our 3 games, roll the dice, and see how things go. All right, so let's take a quick look at the Lyra deck we are playing today. Now, I think there are a lot of different ways you can build this deck, and I'm certain I don't have the optimal build here, but I tried to maximize my amount of dice rolling. And another thing I tried to maximize in this build is options to play after Ouroboros on turn 2. My goal is I'm playing rare Ouroboros. First, I guess the first card we'll go over. Ouroboros will allow us to re-roll our die rolls, or actually, technically, it's roll 2 dice and pick 1. Nevenka and Blotch, of course, if you're unfamiliar in this deck, Nevenka and Blotch was the starter deck Lyra hero, who allows you to exhaust her once per round in order to roll a die. Choose a character and roll a die. If you roll a 6, you get to anchor that character. If you roll 2 to 5, it gets 1 boost. And if you roll a 1, you send it to reserve. So you will see in the games here all manner of rolls, good and bad. And that's just part of playing Nevenka and Blotch, where the other 2 Lyra heroes are not focused on die rolling. It's just this section of Lyra's pool where you do a lot of die rolling. But we play that Ouroboros Lyra Bastion because this allows us to have a lot more control over those die rolls if it can sit out and stay in play. And the big thing, as I always say about landmarks, is you're going to lose momentum if you just play them and don't do anything else that turn. So part of what you'll see in the card choices here are lots of options for 1-drops, which also just give us a lot more flexibility in moving around the board, which is really good against certain factions, especially Yzmir is one where just being able to go wider helps you a lot in that matchup. So some of the other rares, we'll go over our rares first. We're playing Rare Asmodeus. I was not playing Rare Asmodeus for a while, but I switched to it because just, you know, price for stats, Asmodeus really delivers on all fronts. A 4/4/4 for 5 who is either going to be anchored, which is really solid, or is going to actually be a 7/7/7 for 5 is almost, you know, impossible to beat. The problem is you can't control which side you're going to get, but when you do get that anchored, you are able to use things like all in order to put more boosts on it and really make it a force that stays out there a long time. We're playing Rare Cernunnos. Rare Cernunnos is a vanilla 3 for a 4/4/4, but it just gives us a powerful play and a little bit more control since a lot of Lyra characters have 0s in their stats. Cernunnos gives us sort of a little bit more reliability that we're going to have the stats that we need to conquer sides when we need to. So I do like Cernunnos, actually. I think Cernunnos is a really solid card. Katagir and Mage Dancer is almost a staple in these die rolling decks in that it allows you to really, when you roll a lot of dice, stack up a lot of stats on a very cheap unit, especially when it's played out of reserve for just 1. Katagir and Mage Dancer is one of the reasons that Ouroboros even really works, because you're able to play Ouroboros that turn 2 and then play Katagir and Mage Dancer that you played on turn 1 out of your reserve, and then use Nevenka and Blotch's ability to then roll a die and get the Katagir and Mage Dancer to be up to a 3/3/3 or a 2/2/2 anchored, lose it if you're unlucky. But that alone is enough to usually still take a side while you're putting the Ouroboros out, which then sets you up for a lot of fun later on. Final rare that we're playing is a weird one for some people, but I found it very, very good. I think it's very useful in this deck. Studious Disciple, from the Yzmir package again. Studious Disciple is a 1/1 with a 0/1/1 stat line. But the Studious Disciple is very, very flexible in this rare Lyra version in that it has both when played from reserve or as a support ability discarded from reserve. It can make your next spell this turn cost 1 less. That's actually really nice for getting a Paint Prison or an all-in played when sometimes they're a little awkward cost-wise to play. And it works as you're playing the Studious Disciple from reserve, again for that cheap, like sort of pseudo after you effect. I spend 1 and I force you to take another action. I can spread my characters out a little bit and try and, you know, push to either side and decide where I'm going to apply my Nevenka and Blotch ability later. Or in that case, decide where I'm going to apply my all-in later as well. The Studious Disciple is actually a kind of a workhorse in here. I like it quite a bit. And then as far as our commons, as we talked about, we have all-in. All in's a very random boost ability, but when you have that Ouroboros out, it can be a lot more consistent, which is nice. Esmeralda is a solid 2-drop that just gives us more options with that resupply. Lyra Chronicler is just a filler card. I could probably replace this with something else in here, honestly. Probably, I think I had a few too many 3-drops. I could have found a different 2-drop to play, I think, instead. But she's just a 404 for 3. Croupier is a 4-4 for a 0-4-4 with a die roll effect, so it got played because that triggers Katagiri Mage Dancer. And this die roll effect gives us, again, more options, more cards to play with, more resources. Trickster, another die roll effect, another great card to play turn 1 to then be able to play on turn 2 for that 1 cost. I actually like the common version more than the rare version because it only costs 1 and works better for those Ouroboros turns. Paint Prison, you gotta have interaction of some kind. You just need to. Sometimes it is just clutch for winning games. So Paint Prison is here. Again, I like the common version more than the rare because we often want to use some of our extra reserve cards to get that cheaper cost with it, especially when you can make it super, super cheap with a Studious Disciple as well. And the common and rare cost the exact same amount if you choose to use the discard from reserve effect, because the rare version only reduces it by 1 with the overall cost reduced to 4. So it's super good card though. Super flexible removal. The only problem is sometimes when you have a fleeting target with it, it feels kind of bad to let them put that on their owner's deck and get to use it twice again. So you need to think about it a little bit. Apply it appropriately, but it can be very, very good. Tanuki is just sort of an obligatory sabotage effect in here. A 3-3-3-3-0 with a played from hand sabotage, which is sometimes just super clutch. And then Hatter is an interesting card. In these gameplay videos, I don't get to use it at all. It's really a card I just want to kind of hit on a resupply with Esmeralda or with the Croupier, but the support ability to anchor things works really nicely with cards like Cernunnos, with Katagiri and Mage Dancer, as ways just to hold something out there a little bit longer and give us that incremental value. So it often gets resourced, but if you hit it on a resupply, super good. So that is the deck. Now let's jump into the gameplay videos and see how things go for us with this very random die rolling Nevenka and Blotch Lyra deck. All right, we are jumping into our first game, and it is against player Rito here with the Muna deck. So I'm super excited. Always, I love when Muna is involved, my favorite faction. Let's take a look at our hand here. We have some nice low-cost options and a lot of high-cost options. I think we're just going to take all of the high-cost ones, toss them away, and we're just going to play with our lower cost ones instead. This is actually a pretty good start. Ouroboros Trickster, allowing us to roll little dice. Yeah, okay. Big Muna Druid play. One of my favorite early game plays. That means that we can actually use our Disciple to take this side. If we get really lucky on the Trickster, we might be able to fight him, right? Okay, let's see. We rolled a 2, so we did not get really lucky on the Trickster. Just a 1-1-1 over there. Then let's do this. We are going to go ahead and just see what we get on this side. We rolled a 1, unfortunately. Okay, and that's okay because then we didn't really care about that much. Should we play this right out of here right now, or should we use the Studious Disciple? Let's use the Studious Disciple. Use the Studious Disciple to take this side. And then we pass, and we get 1 progression on each side, which is totally okay. But we at least rolled the 1 on a side when it didn't really matter. It was either get the anchor or, you know, didn't matter either way, I guess. Paint Prison. Paint Prison. I don't think it's quite time for Paint Prison yet. I don't think it's time for Paint Prison. So in this deck, we do have our Katagiri Mage Dancer. I just want to say the wrong thing. Katagiri Mage Dancer. And we have a couple of dice rolls here. So this turn, we actually can get this guy fairly big, which is pretty nice. We're going to start. We want to play him out first, I guess. They're just on mountain over here, and we're just on water. I don't know. I guess let's just push to this side. I don't know exactly why I would be thinking about one side versus the other right now. We don't have to worry about like Sakara Brew. Yeah, I'm not sure if there is. I'm thinking if there's any reason why I would care about which side. Oh my goodness. Gigantic Daughter. Okay. Gave us an Asmodeus though. That's nice. So we have an Asmodeus play next turn. With the Mage Dancer in play, let's go ahead and just exhaust this and anchor our Mage Dancer down. That's very cool. Okay. That'll be nice for us. Yeah, we want to just make this guy as big as possible, I think, then. And next turn we play Asmodeus, and then we're happy. It's not like we can get any progression over here, so we'll just go ahead and... Yep, we're rolling for the sake of just getting boosts on the Mage Dancer. They're going to... Of course, they're going to anchor their daughter in as well. You know, if we were on this side, we actually could win on water, which would be pretty funny if we play the Studious Disciple, but we're not going to do that. Okay, so we had a progression on both sides. Once again, we have to choose one of these to keep. The all-in, we don't need 2 of these, I think. I'd rather have the Cernunnos available for another turn. It's just a lot of good stats for the cost. There's a lot to try and fight over here, and they're going all in on it. We already have this side kind of locked down. I kind of want to play the Asmodeus and see what happens, but competing on this side doesn't make a lot of sense. They still have 3 available. They could play another daughter and lock us out of this side, so, man. I guess let's just play over here. I don't like it that much, but... Get a boost and then an anchor, which is nice. They're going to once again anchor their daughter. Holy cow. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff going on. So since we anchored our Asmodeus, we get to use Nevenka. If we were to anchor the Mage Dancer, that would be insane. But really, I just kind of want to get a counter. I mean, it's most likely we're going to get the counter. I got the anchor. Are you kidding me? I wish I had picked the Mage Dancer instead. Oh, that is sad. If we had picked the Mage Dancer, we would be looking so strong on this side. Oh, that's so rough. We have another Asmodeus. Wow, okay. I kind of want to... Ooh. God, that's pretty good. Do we need this many Asmodeus? Do you ever not need Asmodeus? Is this wrong to put the Cernunnos down here? Because we have Mage Dancer, Asmodeus again. Like, that looks pretty good. Currently, we're just letting each other move on each side. Wow. Yeah, I want to put the Mage Dancer out, I think. They're just going to keep anchoring down on this side. Big Yongsu. Oh, no. Well, that's okay. They're going to put this big Yongsu down and probably anchor him over there, but we might actually be ahead of them on that then. We're going to play another Asmodeus over here. This one just gets the boosts. But so does this guy. We've got 13s on that side. Looking pretty huge. Yep, anchor your Yongsu down. Okay, we really want to hit a 6 again. We're going to go for it here. Are you kidding me? We'll anchor our 777 down then. Holy cow. 3 6s in a row? This is unbelievable. What a first game. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're passed out then. There we go. We're just each pushing on one side. But finally, we've kicked them out. We got rid of their meditation trainings. We have an Ouroboros out here. Ooh. Okay. I think we're going to toss Esmeralda down. Because we have a good variety of costs we can pay. I'm kind of interested in... I think we want to get this Ouroboros down, because if we can keep anchoring Asmodeus, that would be pretty sick. So we're going to put our Ouroboros down. And we are going to try to anchor Asmodeus again. Alright. We got to see what happens now. We have to see what happens. We almost can't fail this. There's the 1, but we get the 5. So that at least ties us up over there. What do we do then? I guess I could have played the Mage Dancer first. I was really hoping to get an anchor on it. I guess let's do this. Yeah, we can use this reserve effect. Okay. Yeah. I've got to play. I've got to play. They're pushing on Forest over there. Oh, it's pretty strong. Okay. We're going to go ahead and use the reserve effect of the Studious Disciple to make our next spell cheaper. And then we're going to all in. We're going to all in a 2. Okay. It's just a 2, unfortunately, so that doesn't actually help us. Well, this could tie us over here, but then they still progress. So we're just going to beat them on this side, I suppose. That could have gone better, but it also could have gone worse. Now we have way too many things here. And they're anchored down over there too. Oof. We won't be able to afford both these Asmodeuses, so we have to toss one. Oh, I don't want to toss anything else. Well, Asmodeus and all in is a play. We're just gonna roll with that, I guess. Oh, that sabotage might be so good, though. Yeah, this is looking a little rough. Maybe if I had kept that Pain Prison earlier, but then I wouldn't have been able to play that stuff. Oh, that Pain Prison would have been really good, though, wouldn't it? Okay, well, let's try and just push them on this side, then. All we can really do. We're going to hope to get an anchor and a crazy all-in roll. We didn't get the anchor there. That's okay. That's okay. That's a lot of boosts. Yangsu's big. Okay. We're going to exhaust Nevenka. Oh, we got the anchor. Okay. We're going to anchor this down. And then if our all-in roll is good, we're actually going to be in a good position going into potentially the last turn. But we don't have both Asmodeuses, unfortunately. Okay, and then we got a 4 on our all-in, so we're looking pretty strong on that side. Oh, Beauty Sleep. Beauty Sleep is so good. Oh, Beauty Sleep is too good. Alright, well, we got wrecked then. Ah, that was close. So many 6s, though. That was wild. That Beauty Sleep just destroyed us, though. All right, game 2, and it is a Lyra mirror match, but we are playing against Fen and Crowbar, so that's really exciting. It is going to be Nevenka versus Fen and Crowbar. Let's see which of us has the better time here. I think it will come down to how our dice rolls are. We'll put the Hatter into our mana orbs right away. Asmodeus, as much as I'd love to keep Asmodeus, I think we're going to toss Asmodeus, and then 2 Esmeraldas, we'll just keep 1. So we have a pretty solid first turn where we can actually push on both sides, just depending on how this works. Let's start with the Studious Disciple, I think. I want them to... they're just going to fight us then, though. Ooh, I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll start with Esmeralda. That'll give us a resupply. Maybe we'll see something else. We did see another Studious Disciple. Interesting. Okay. So we have Esmeralda on this side. What side are they going to play on? They played on the other side. Gave our Esmeralda fleeting. Kind of rude, honestly. Just a little bit. Like, not super rude, but enough. Enough rude. Well, gee, does it actually make any sense to go over here? No, it doesn't, because Studious Fight's on the exact same stats over there. So I think we're just going to... Well, let's do this. We'll exhaust here. We'll see what happens. If we anchor this, that'd be sweet. We did not anchor. Okay. No anchor for us over there. That's... Oh! I goofed up. I could have actually stolen it with the 1 on that side. Ah. Yep, no, chalk that up to my inexperience. I always forget I could get the 1 on the stat and win on that side, so we'll see. That might have just cost me the game. I realized it as soon as I rolled and saw the 1 appear that was a huge mistake that I made. Ah, shoot. Okay, well, we'll put the Chronicler down here. It's just a bad Cernunnos for us. They do have a Mighty Djinn showing up. Now, they're going to win the Resource War for sure. Oh, I'm going to be... That mistake smarts. I'm going to be thinking about that the whole game. Every turn, I'm going to track back to that one turn when I could have done that. Okay, now the nice thing is here, we're just trying to win on water. And win on water we will. I'm going to end up with too many things in reserve if I play out of there. So we're going to put the Studious Disciple down here. And let's go ahead. We don't even have to play Cernunnos. The next spell I play this afternoon costs 1 less. Well, you know what? Should we go for it? Maybe we can make up for this a little bit. Let's start with this. Actually, we'll start with Nevenka just in case we screw up. We did not screw up there. Okay. Let's go for an all-in that only costs 2 now. We got a 4. Beautiful. All right. We're going to make up some lost ground now and put the Studious Disciple over here and get a double progression. However, we could have had that and have progressed that first turn. What a punt that was, unfortunately. Oh, I feel so bad about that. Okay, Croupier. 4 and 1 is a reasonable play. Trickster, all in. Cernunnos. Do we need Forest at all? We don't need Forest at all. Okay, I guess... I'm going to go for the Croupier here. Croupier seems really useful. Now, Fen is at higher mana orbs now. And we do have to be aware of, like, Shenlongs popping out somewhere. Let's start with... I mean, I guess I'm just going to drop the Croupier. Stats are perfect right over here, so we will roll that 2, which means we get to resupply another Croupier. Give us the After You. Okay. I guess we're just going to go for Nevenka. Or, no, I wait on that. I wait on Nevenka. There's no reason to do Nevenka now. They have all their resources available. They can totally play around whatever we're doing. So let's just push stats on this side, I think. I want my stats to be as high as possible, but if they drop a Shenlong, then I guess they had Shenlong. That After You is really painful, though. Dropping Alice over there. Yeah, I mean, they got lots of stats now if they have another Alice. All we can really do, I think, honestly, is just hope to anchor Croupier. Or hope to just lose Croupier. That's so painful. Oh, have I mentioned that I wish that I played the first turn correctly? Have I mentioned that? It's my inexperience as a Lyra player coming to bear. Although I still do kind of stuff like that with Muna too. Yep. Good job. You can just take both easily. All right. Well, we're all caught up then. Well done. We'll toss one of these. And they have another After You here as well. Which I'm certain we'll see from them. Guess I'm going to keep Esmeralda just to get my options open a little bit more. They have a Hatter in here now. And so many resources. Wow, they can push so high. Okay, but they committed to this side instead. Which I'm pretty happy to see. To be honest. That's pretty alright with me. 2 and 3, that doesn't quite work out nicely. And maybe I want to save the Paint Prison for next turn. Yeah, we'll just put Esmeralda on this side. A Mage Dancer. Mage Dancer does make Paint Prison live, where I can actually discard a card from reserve to Paint Prison and still have the resource left to put the Mage Dancer out. Interesting, interesting. Let's see what they play. We are on Forest and Mountain on this side, Water and Mountain on this side. Anchoring with Hatter. That. Ooh. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice to see. Okay. I'm going to play the Mage Dancer out here. We actually just have the all-in play as well, which is kind of an interesting one too. Okay. Okay, I think as long as we don't roll a 1. If we roll a 1, we're in bad shape, but if we don't roll a 1 here, 3. Nice. So we can actually take that on that side. And then we're going to use the Paint Prison because that gets the best value and it gets rid of the Anchored as well. We're going to apply this modifier and drop the Croupier. And we will go ahead and put the Alice on top of their deck, giving us a pretty sweet turn with a double progression as well. Okay. We're on the first action with a Tanuki available. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this looks not bad. Put this down here. And that Tanuki is going to be kind of cool in that yeah, okay. Hathor. Hathor's actually pretty stat efficient for the stats that we're looking for, unfortunately. That's okay. We want Tanuki on this side, I think. And yeah, I think we're just going to get rid of the Asmodeus. Our only play, though, is to really hope we get lucky with all-in on the Hathor, which isn't, like, wonderful. We could play Esmeralda on this side, but then they probably just beat us on that side as well, because they have a lot of cards in hand. Well, let's see what happens first. Oh, no. No, why? All right, Mulligan. It goes over here now. It was all part of the plan. It was all part of the plan. It's a strategic move of Tanuki. Get Tanuki onto this side now. That actually would have been good if that's what I was doing. If I discarded their Hathor and got them to play Asmodeus, and then I like moved the Tanuki to that side, that would have been the worst. I mean, it's pretty bad, but yep, I got nothing to do, so. That was pretty awful. They just have so many resources. Ugh, all this is kind of awkward, but the Croupier at least gives me another action. I have to stop them on both sides, though, and they have a Paint Prison, so it's basically over at this point, unfortunately. I think the thing is, even if I had made the right move that first turn, I'd be one closer. This would be a very close game, but with that Paint Prison in my current hand, it's just, I wouldn't be getting anywhere here. I have to block them on both sides, and it's simply, currently, it's just not possible. That is not a possible thing for me to do. Okay, I drew a card. Because all they have to do is Paint Prison me here. And it's just, it's over for me. I'm just gonna get Paint Prisoned. Yeah. That's no good. I just want to see what happens, I guess. Okay, cool. We got the +1. I guess they can no longer paint prisons, so that's cool. Sure, we'll see how high it gets. Wow, he's really big. Doesn't do me any good. Yep, unfortunately, very close game. Good game, Cocolasticot, but I screwed it up at the start and then had a classic Lyra dice roll fail. All right, game 3. Let's go for a win here. Hopefully we can get one today. Game 3 against Yzmir Teija. Let's look at our hand. We have a lot of early drops, actually. This is really nice. Wow, okay. I think we'll drop the Chronicler because it's just going to be kind of worse than some of our other options. I don't want to lose the Mage Dancer. I guess we'll lose the Esmeralda, even though I like the options. Okay, let's lose the All-In. And... yeah, okay, we'll lose the Esmeralda. That might have been a mistake, though. I mean, the extra cards might help us a lot against Yzmir. This Tanuki will be good, but not right now. We'll just start by dropping the Mage Dancer over here. The Studious Disciple might just help us snag a side on this first turn. Depending on where they go. They put the Alchemist over there. Okay, interesting. Studious Disciple. Studious Disciple we can actually compete with them over there. Okay, let's try that. Let's see what happens. We're gonna exhaust over here. We got the 6 for the Anchor. Interesting. Okay. Well, that doesn't allow us to actually stop them, but that's not bad either. It's actually pretty sweet on the Katagiran Mage Dancer. So we'll just take this side with the Disciple. Call it a day. And our Tanuki is going to be looking pretty useful here. Our Hatter is not what I'm looking for right now, I think. They're playing Akesha and Taru, so almost 100% we're getting After You. There we go. Now, how do we start this? I think I'm just going to use the Studious Disciple as an After You on our side. I don't know what I want to do with the Mage Dancer yet. I don't want to commit to anything in case they try and use a removal spell. Let's put the Studious Disciple here. Our stats are nice. Studious Disciple lines up over there, allows us to try and compete a little bit. I could have Tanuki'd the Alchemist, but I don't know. It's not a huge target to Tanuki. But it will actually be a nice target to Tanuki now. Yeah, I'm going to like this. This seems like it'll be pretty good. Okay. So that should shut them out there. They're still going to progress on water on this side. They're going to have another After You from this Alice, though, unfortunately. Ooh, Sleepy Mage Dancer. Okay, well, I'm glad we waited to use Nevenka. We'll go ahead and use Nevenka now. And we got a 3, so that's fine. Not too exciting. Does make the Mage Dancer a little bigger, and because the Mage Dancer is sleepy, it's going to last another turn. Ugh, we're going to get wrecked by Beauty Sleep at some point in this game again, though, just like the first game. I just feel it coming. All 3s. That's not ideal. I kind of wanted Tanuki this Beauty Sleep. Or the Alice, maybe. Cernunnos is really big, but this all-in actually might be kind of cool now. With all these Tanukis, I'm going to pass up on the stats in favor of having access to another Sabotage. I unfortunately just can't do both of these things, so I have to make a decision about where I'm going and with what. Forest, we do beat the Alice and Forest on either side, so I guess I'm not terribly concerned about the Alice. So we're just going to go ahead and Tanuki the Beauty Sleep. Get that out of here. Limit their, as I always say, we're going to limit their available resources. We're going to try and force them to play more cards out of their hand. And hopefully, you know, the idea is often when you limit their resources like that, they can't play turns that are quite as full. They're not always able to use all of their mana orbs because they just don't have as many options for cards to play. So you got a Tooth Fairy Sabotage. They can go up to 3/3/5 on this side. So all we have to do is hit the +1/+1 on this side, and then we end up with 4/4/4 on either side, which is pretty good. And at that point, we can just pass, and they have the Off You Go, so that's okay. We still get to win on one side, though. That's all right. We at least got them to spend it. They have no cards in hand, and they're going to be just down to 2 cards in reserve, so I feel okay about that. We're going to be ahead by 1 card in our total available resources. Okay, so it is them first, and I'm sure we're going to get After You again. This turn, let's see. Do I want the Croupier? The Croupier might be nice, actually. Get another play. 4 or 5. The Pain Prison's pretty good to have, too. Is the Pain Prison going to get played 3... Or is the All-In? The All-In's kind of risky. I think the All-In's kind of risky against Yzmir. So we're going to toss the All-In. I would have loved another Tanuki, though, honestly. Get that Sabotage. That'd be my 3rd one, though. Seems unlikely. There's the After You. Okay, and that's fine. We'll just go ahead and commit the Mage Dancer. Let's see. Croupier's really bad on this side, so let's go ahead and just put the Mage Dancer out over here. Alice on that side. Okay. With 3 left, which means they're not using Off You Go, they might have another removal spell in their hand. So that's a couple of interesting options. I could just Paint Prison the Alice, and if I Paint Prison the Alice, where are we at? I mean, the problem is the Croupier does not beat the Alice. We Paint Prison the Alice, so they just get to draw the Alice again. And the Alice's stats are kind of obnoxious. God, it is fleeting. I don't really want them to get so many uses out of it. Okay, let's do the Croupier. We'll do the Croupier here. And that'll get a counter on the category Mage Dancer. We're going to draw Hatter. And we'll see what they do with their last card in hand, if anything. Nothing. Okay, okay. So, given that, then, we are going to go for it. Hope to not roll a 1, please. 5. 5 is good. Okay, there we go. That was a good turn. That was the turn we needed, I think, to kind of pull ahead here. Croupier looking pretty nice on this side, actually. Ooh, Asmodeus shows up. 5. The numbers just are not good for Asmodeus right now. Honestly. We're better off going like Croupier Cernunnos. We do have an Off You Go to deal with, but it's just quite expensive. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that 3-0... Off You Go can't target Asmodeus, though. What other ones do they have? Maybe Hatter? Maybe we just lose Hatter. Let's just lose Hatter, I think. Because I think what we're going to do is play Croupier Cernunnos. Croupier Tanuki's not terrible either. And Croupier Paint Prison is another potential line. We certainly have a ton more resources than them now, though. I mean, that feels pretty alright. I'm not too mad about that. Yeah, I mean, I think we're just going to toss the Croupier here. And I'm doing that because I'd like to hold on to the Cernunnos if possible, because having Asmodeus and Cernunnos, or Asmodeus and Paint Prison as my 8 mana turn next turn, feels like it'll be pretty useful. The Asmodeus right now just wasn't quite as good. And playing this 4-drop here means Off You Go is just simply is not an option against it. Now against this Alice, I think I'm acutely interested in bouncing this thing. It's just going to make it very difficult for them to deal with it, and then all they do is draw Alice again next turn, and Alice's stats are honestly pretty weak on this board. So we're going to apply this modifier, we're going to toss the Tanuki, and we're just going to paint prison the Alice back to the top of their deck. I know they're drawing Alice next turn now, and that also prevents them from having the Alice after you next turn, in case that would be frustrating, watching me deploy and then being able to mess me up. They had the Banishing Gate. Okay. Well, we got them to spend the Banishing Gate, I guess, so that's cool. Yeah. Nothing happened this turn. Except all they have, again, they're so low on available resources. It's 2/2, but all they have are removal, and the removal are kind of expensive. If we just draw some of our low drops here, I might not even Mana Orb anything, and just play out low drops. That's all I really want to do. Okay, I will Mana Orb and Asmodeus. I don't need this many Asmodeus, though. Let's see. So they're going to after you. I actually want to bait the off you go here, I think. I'm going to try and bait the off you go. I'm going to play Cernunnos to the companion side. They either resourced Alice or they drew it. I guess they could have put it on the bottom as well. That'd be an interesting choice. I'm not sure what I would choose to do with it. Did they value its stats right now? I guess not. They did not value its stats. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So they put the Stargazer here. And now their plan is to off you go or banish something here. But we're not actually going to allow them to win this. I'm going to do this. If I put Asmodeus down, then they are certainly going to banish Banishing Gate on Asmodeus. So is that good? Do I want them just to get rid of that? They might choose to Banishing Gate here anyway. Yeah, they will, because if they off you go, then we can play Cernunnos out of reserve. So yeah, we play Katagir and Mage Dancer here. If they off you go, we actually get to replay Cernunnos. If they Banishing Gate, then Asmodeus is safe next turn. Right, exactly. So they went ahead and did that, and now they are out of cool plays, and we are full of cool plays. Now, I'm going to take the risk here because it's really good if we win. We need... Yeah, we can win on Forest still, so we're going to exhaust Nevenka and roll over here. We got the 3. Perfect. I mean, the 6 would have been ideal, obviously, but then we get the +1/+1/+1 on Katagirin, which wins us on that side as well. And a clean victory. All right, we finally did win one. We did not lose every single game. This is a tough deck to play. Honestly, the Lyra dice rolling deck is very unforgiving if your rolls aren't extremely hot. And even as you saw in that first game, sometimes you can roll all 6s, and that's not really what you're looking for. So you just need the rolls to come up perfectly. And it means that if you ever misplay something and then the rolls are not like the hottest they possibly can be, you do end up losing a lot of steam, like we saw in that second game, making that misplay. So, but I'm always happy to show you guys both wins and losses. I don't want to just show you, oh, Dan's so good, he wins every single game. So I hope that you found this sort of interesting to watch. I am certain there are things I could have played better, because with all these zeros and everything, especially in the stats, watching where you are traveling and which zones you're going to is extremely important, and there's a lot that could be optimized here as well. But I am happy to get at least one win beating Yzmir with Lyra. And we had some close-ish games, had some bad beats on some other ones, but you know, that's just how the die rolls sometimes. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. We'll be back next week with an Ortis gameplay video to sort of finish our set of all 6 factions, and then we will see what happens from there. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next one.